All right, you're going to want to eat these 5 foods in one meal a day for longevity.
Okay, one single meal.
One single meal. Try to combine them all in one meal.
Let's do it.
So the first food, dark leafy greens. There was a paper published recently by Beal et al. That found that dark leafy greens are one of the most nutrient-dense foods available to us. They are very calorie sparse, so they don't contain many calories, but nonetheless contain lots of folate. Folate is actually named for foliage. It's found in dark leafy greens primarily. Rich in vitamin C, rich in dietary fiber, which we know is associated with longevity and lower levels of inflammation. And we know, thanks to research from Rush University, that people who eat about a cup and a third of dark leafy greens every day have brains that perform up to 11 years younger. So you can have a more youthful brain by eating dark leafy greens on a more regular basis. And one foundational rule that I love to set is to just eat a salad a day. Eat a fatty salad every single day. Dark leafy greens are also a great source of compounds called carotenoids, which we know directly support eye health and brain health. These are like plant pigments that accumulate in neural tissue and help protect those tissues against oxidative stress and lipid peroxidation, which is like essentially your brain cell membranes becoming sort of oxidized, the fats that comprise our brain cell membranes becoming oxidized. And so dark leafy greens, I think, are a great food. Again, highly nutrient dense, very filling, and do not provide much in the way of caloric value, which is great because we live in a world where most people in every 24-hour cycle are consuming more calories than their bodies burn every single day. So any way that we can get more satiety in fewer calories, I think that's a great solution.
Question, the carotenoids you mentioned, is that what gives them their dark color?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So carotenoids, if you go to the produce section of your supermarket, they are the compounds responsible for the yellows, the oranges. Those are all present in dark leafy greens. But the reason why dark leafy greens are not yellow or orange is because they also contain chlorophyll, which is another pigment. It's green. And that sort of clouds out the yellow hues, but they're still there. There's just so much chlorophyll.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And chlorophyll, at the center of the chlorophyll, if you actually go to Google Images and you look at the chemical configuration of chlorophyll and compare it to hemoglobin in our blood, it's nearly identical, with the key difference being that at the center of the chlorophyll molecule, you have magnesium, and at the center of the hemoglobin molecule, you have iron.
Interesting.
Fascinating, right?
Yeah.
So dark leafy greens, good source of magnesium. You'd have to eat a lot of dark leafy greens to get a decent amount of magnesium, but it's there nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah, in all green foods.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 1 at the base of our longevity meal.
Yeah, that's at the base. Number 2 would be extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is like medicine to the brain and body. It's the staple oil in the Mediterranean region of the world. It's also the oil that was selected to be used exclusively as part of the MIND diet, which is a dietary pattern associated with reduced risk for dementia, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease. And it's rich in heart-healthy fats like monounsaturated fat. It contains about 15% saturated fat, which is to say that it's a very chemically stable fat. And not just because of the fatty acids, it also contains an abundance of polyphenols and antioxidants, which can help protect the oil over time against this sort of chemical degradation known as oxidation. But one compound in particular that you get in extra virgin olive oil is oleocanthal, which is a compound that has been shown to be as anti-inflammatory as low-dose ibuprofen, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, chronic use of which is associated with increased risk for cardiovascular events. No downside to using extra virgin olive oil, only upside. And the reason why you want to use extra virgin olive oil in your salad is that, as I mentioned, you want to ingest a fatty salad. And the reason why I added the fatty qualifier is that carotenoids are fat soluble. And these compounds are really valuable. And so if you're consuming a salad with a fat-free dressing, these compounds are just basically flowing through you. So you want to make sure that you're consuming your salad with a fat source.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just a little tangent. Extra virgin olive oil is different than just olive oil.
Yeah.
So I think it's helpful to know, like, when you're looking at all of the olive oil options, you want to look for extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah. You want to look for extra virgin olive oil. You also want to buy your olive oil in relatively small containers. So try to avoid the large. I mean, it's going to be cheaper to buy because of, just economies of scale. But you want to buy it because the thing about extra virgin olive oil is not like wine. It doesn't get better over time. It only degrades in terms of its freshness.
Okay.
So you want to buy it in a small enough bottle to use it quickly and then buy fresh. So you always want to be using fresh extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
And one way to really gauge the quality of an extra virgin olive oil is to look on the bottle and see if there's a harvest date. The higher quality oils are going to have a harvest date on the bottle because they want you to know that you're buying fresh oil.
Yeah.
So look for that. Buy your olive oil if you can in glass bottles, darkly colored bottles. In Genius Kitchen, my cookbook that just came out, there's a whole section on how to buy the best extra virgin olive oil. But all that is to say,
I should know that.
yeah. But all that is to say, it's a wonderful food, and we see thanks to randomized control trials like the PREDIMED study that using up to a liter a week of extra virgin olive oil associated with great cardiovascular health, better cardiometabolic health, improved brain health, body composition, so much.
All leads to longevity.
Which all leads to longevity, yeah.
Okay, so that's going to make it fatty. That's 2.
Yeah.
What's our third?
So the third food, I would add some type of wild fatty fish. Salmon is a great option, rich in DHA fat, which we know is one of the most important structural building blocks of the brain. 60% of your brain is made of fat, and DHA fat is accounts for about half of that. And we don't ingest a ton of DHA fat on a daily basis. We ingest a lot of omega-6 fats, which are to some degree essential. But we need to balance out the fats in our brain cell membranes with DHA. So wild fatty fish is a great source of that. And salmon in particular, which I think is like going to be the most common or easily accessible choice for most people, also contains a compound called astaxanthin, which was highlighted in a paper recently published by longevity researcher Bruce Ames as a putative longevity agent. It's just a really powerful pro-longevity compound, good for skin health, eye health, brain health. Okay. And then, of course, wild fatty fish is a great source of protein. So wonderful source of the full complex of essential amino acids that are important for supporting muscle protein synthesis, which we know is important.
Can you find astaxanthin in anything else?
Certain algae produce it, which is how it makes its way to salmon.
Okay.
But yeah, it's primarily produced by algae. I mean, you get it when you eat salmon because salmon eat algae, and also
right. What else eats algae?
Flamingos.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a pink flamingo, the pink color of their feathers is due to astaxanthin. They're born white, but they become pink because that's what they eat. They eat astaxanthin containing algae.
We've talked about this because no one eats flamingos.
Nobody eats flamingos. Yeah, nobody eats flamingos.
Please don't.
Yeah, but that's really, I mean, to my knowledge, salmon is the only commonly available source of astaxanthin. I mean, you see the carotenoid in lobster and shrimp, but it's most concentrated in the flesh of salmon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, so that's 3.
That's 3. Number 4 would be berries. Love to add a berry to a salad.
Berry.
Yeah. What about you? You ever have berries in a salad?
Yeah.
Tasty.
Yeah. Delicious.
Whatever your berry of choice.
What's your berry of choice?
I like blueberries. I also really like, you can go to like a Whole Foods and buy frozen wild blueberries.
Okay.
Yeah. Wild blueberries are even better than.
Are you putting frozen blueberries in a salad?
Not in a salad. I put them in Greek yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah. Really tasty. It sounds weird, but you can put frozen berries straight into Greek yogurt and texturally it's fine. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe you. But.
No, I swear, because they're soft. Yeah, it's not like they're not hard like a frozen grape. Or I guess frozen grapes are fairly soft too. I don't know, but it sounds weird, tastes good.
Okay.
Yeah. So berries are a great addition. We know that people who consume berries regularly, once or twice, a couple times a week, have brains that perform about 2.5 years younger. They're a low sugar fruit, rich in myriad different compounds. In blueberries, you get anthocyanins, which we know are supportive of good memory function. But in strawberries, you get another compound called fisetin, which is a longevity agent. So, I mean, berries in general, they're great. They're, I think, a very ancient food. I think our hunter-gatherer ancestors were probably big fans of berries as well. So I like to, eat berries regularly. And I feel like putting them in a salad is a really easy way to add them, but then also have like a bit of portion control.
Yes, and add a little bit of sweetness to the fatty olive oil and salmon.
Yeah.
It's great.
100%.
Okay. So that's 4.
That's 4. Well, the fifth one, man, we could go a bunch of different ways with the fifth one. I think the fifth one we should add, we should talk about, because we already have the protein, right? We already have the healthy fats. But I think nuts are a great addition to a salad.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little crunch.
Yeah. And also adding nuts to a salad is, I mentioned portion control.
Yes.
Great way to control your portions, because nuts are, among whole foods, the most calorie dense foods that are out there. They're super calorie. It could be calories do matter. You don't want to overconsume your calories. And I think with nuts in particular, eating them out of the bag can be a slippery slope for many people. Maybe not all people, but it's like very difficult, especially if they have any kind of seasoning or anything on them. Very easy to overconsume nuts, and they're very calorie dense, which, nuts in general are still very good for you. So studies show observationally, which doesn't equal causation, but that people who consume nuts regularly have better cardiovascular health, better metabolic health, lower risk for various, respiratory diseases, kidney diseases, and things like that. So really beneficial. Rich in healthy fats, fat-soluble antioxidants like vitamin E, which we know is really important to the brain. So prebiotic fiber, so many good things going for them. But yeah, adding them to a salad is super tasty and super healthy way to do it.
Are all nuts created equal?
Great question. I tend to like almonds. I think that almonds are great because they're very rich in magnesium, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But almonds are a very powerful source of magnesium, vitamin E. Macadamias are great, but they can be a bit expensive. Walnuts, I think that walnuts tend to have this association with good brain health, but they're often cited as being a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. But I'm not a big fan of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids because our bodies tend to be very inefficient at converting them.
Oh, interesting.
To their usable form in the body. So when looking at all nuts, I would say my 2 favorites or 3 favorites would have to be almonds, because for the reasons that I mentioned, pistachios. Pistachios, out of all other nuts, are actually a great source of lutein and zeaxanthin, which gives them that yellow hue, those carotenoids. Other nuts don't contain them.
Green.
Yeah. Well, they have green too. Well, because carotenoids can have a green, a green effect as well.
I messaged you the other day. Did you know that the nut inside the pistachio is called a kernel?
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't respond to me. I thought it was interesting.
I ghosted?
Ghosted me on my fun fact. But now I'm sharing it with all of YouTube.
Nice.
It's called a kernel.
Pistachios. And then I guess my third favorite nut would be Brazil nuts because of their great source of selenium.
We love a single Brazil nut.
Yeah. Every day I try to eat like 1 or 2 Brazil nuts. Maybe even 3.
Treat yourself. Go wild.
Well, I think, it's interesting because as I was saying, they're very calorie dense. 2 Brazil nuts have the same amount of calories as a whole egg,
What?
And I think you're getting more.
Interesting.
Yeah. You get more nutritional bang for your buck protein and the like from an egg than a Brazil nut. But I think still Brazil nuts in 1 or 2, you get at least your daily RDA or RDI for selenium.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, good stuff. So try to eat those 5 in one meal.
I think that sounds like a great meal.
Every day. Yeah, it sounds delicious, right?
The only thing I'd add would be like a red onion, but then we're at 6.
Yeah, they're great though.
Yeah.
I mean, I would add vinegar, salt, pepper, some lemon. You got to add, but we have the foundation down.
Yeah. The rest are just bonuses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Hey, if you like that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there. You want to minimize your consumption of foods with added sugar.
Okay.
Also, added sugar is sort of a proxy marker for ultra-processed foods. So foods that are made in plants. Eat plants. Don't eat foods that are made in plants.